Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Monday, the 7th of December, 2020. I'm your host, the Amazing Super Chris. Today, it's an interesting day. We're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff. My co-host, Andy Hall from the Laughing Disbelief blog over at Patheos will be joining me in just a minute, and Nokasuchi from the Rage channel will be here, and we're going to have some fun, talk about some things, commemorate some things, remember some stuff right after this. Hello all, Chris Mallard here, atheist extraordinaire, host of the Daily Atheist Morning Show, and currently
You have to deal with this fool on Twitter.
burning in hell. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm not dead. I'm just down here for the annual Christmas party. I mean, annual solstice awards party. The Dark One, or Lucy as he is affectionately known, is personally handing out the awards. Aaron Ra is getting the award for the most souls brought down by evolution for his African fossil hunt, and Matt Dillahunty has won the Golden Phallus Award for being a dick to the most Christians. Oh wait. It's the Golden Fallacy Award for the confusing the most Christians. Easy mistake to make. To top it off, Seth Andrews has lent his voice to the Gregorian chants this year. It's delightfully hellish. Gotta run. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving, if you're into that sort of thing, and I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. A happy holidays, happy solstice, and a happy new year. Stay safe, heathens. Party hard, fornicate, that sort of thing, but do it safely. Alive.
Referencing Sherry.
Glitchy.
All right. So, good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing good. Andy Hall, how you doing, buddy? Did you have a good weekend?
I had a pretty good weekend. It's over. We played some Monopoly, which I crushed in. I just want to say that right now. My girlfriend is at least one standard deviation smarter than I am. And my kid is 15. So I was able to crush my kid, which is always great for parent-child relations. And then I was able to crush my girlfriend, which I've already done, crushed her hopes and dreams and stuff. But now I was able to do it on the Monopoly board too. So, hey, it's a win.
Gotcha. Awesome. Nokasuchi, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. I'm nice and awake today. I've already finished an edited video, been arguing with Christians on Facebook. It's been a good morning. Yeah, really good morning.
Always fun. Well, before we get too far along, I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Good morning, Derek Cruz, Urban. I don't know why you timed out Derek. Please don't do that. Thank you. Good morning to everybody on the Damn Nation, all of our people watching on the YouTube channels, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, the Daily Atheist Morning Show live, TrumpFamilyTreason.com. If you're watching over there, thank you to everybody who's joining us this morning. I hope you had a great weekend. Before we get too far along, though, I want to play something for people because there's so much craziness in the world that we tend to forget about other certain things. So give me just a second. I want to play this for you guys. Are you ready? Here we go. Hope everybody can hear it.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the Senate, of the House of Representatives, yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at...
Okay, I just kind of want to point that out. I realize my audio is roboting. I'll ask Andy to take over for a minute here, and I'll tinker with it. But I just wanted to say that. Go ahead, Andy.
Today is controlling my cursing. Today is Pearl Harbor Day, and Pearl Harbor Day, of course, is 1941, approximately this time in the morning here on the East Coast, I believe. I believe the initial attack from the Empire of Japan on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii was just happened around 9 o'clock in the morning, their time. Early morning, Japanese Zeros, which were the fighter aircraft of the Japanese Empire at the time, the main Japanese fighters attacked Pearl Harbor along with bombers, torpedo planes, and the such. It is, and I want to remind people that the twin evils that we face today in society are the same evils we faced in 1941, because World War II in the Pacific was a religious war as well as an oil war. The reason why the Empire of Japan attacked us is because we shut off their oil. That may or may not be known for a lot of you, but
Right.
Andy's mic is fine. Thank you. My mic is fine. So I just want to say that it was an oil war. We told the Empire of Japan that to stop with their invasion of China. They refused, and so they attacked us. And in terms of a religious war, of course, there was emperor worship in Japan. People thought the emperor was a living god. And a little bit of more trivia dropping down on you. When they surrendered, one of the things we told them they had to get rid of was emperor worship. The Emperor Hirohito had to tell the population that, hey, guess what? I'm not a god. Big surprise. So yes, a religious war and an oil war at the same time. Oh, my fictitious God, Chris, you got me popping at 9:07 in the morning over Pearl Harbor.
Okay, let's do the audio a little better here real quick. I'm going to just kind of rant and point out something that some other people may not know, is that, they consider it a cowardly act by Japan. That it was a cowardly act. Some people don't know that Japan actually warned us. They sent us like 2 or 3 messages, including telegraphs, going, you know what, we're fixing to do a thing. You need to pay attention, and we ignored them. So in case you didn't know that. Still
Wait, okay. I don't understand. I don't understand how people would see it as a cowardly act. They basically attacked a rising superpower at the time. We wasn't a superpower yet, but we were rising into that. World War II will really mold us into the superpower we would become, but we were rising into that, and they just straight up like came at us. And to Andy's point, the god worship of their emperor is the reason they fought us tooth and nail, and we couldn't defeat them. It took two nuclear bombs to break their will and defeat them, because they just kept coming at us, and no matter what we threw at them. And it was you talk to any of the soldiers that are still alive today, or go look at their stories about that war in the Pacific. It was brutal, and it was brutal.
More like Vietnam. It was a Vietnam style kind of conflict. It was very different from the European War. And and just to bring it to skepticism, the man who orchestrated the attacks or helped organize the attacks, Admiral Yamamoto, he actually went to university here at Harvard. He understood the United States of America, and he told them, you can't win a war against the United States of America. It can just produce. There's just too many people. There's just too much stuff there. Mm-hmm. But he was told, listen, this is the thing that we're going to do, and you got to go do it. Right. And like a good soldier, he's like, well, I'm going to do my best.
Well, another thing that happened, he kept trying to warn him too. Another mic check while I point out something else is that my understanding is that whenever they first attacked Pearl Harbor, they were expecting to find 2 aircraft carriers there that were not there. And since they weren't there, it kind of scared them. They were going to destroy those aircraft carriers and move on to the West Coast. But since those aircraft carriers weren't there, they didn't want to get them trapped behind them. So they backed off. And had it not been for that, I think it was the Enterprise and the Hornet. Had it not been for them, then it would have been unfortunate. Sounds like I got my mic fixed, so good on that.
That's good. So yes, the aircraft carriers were off on maneuvers, and some conspiracy theorists think that FDR wanted all those dead soldiers, dead sailors in Pearl Harbor to get us into the conflict. No, it's just dumb luck. It's just dumb luck. A lot of life is just dumb luck. And the fact that those aircraft carriers happened to be on maneuvers was just dumb luck.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it was dumb luck. Wait a second now. It was dumb luck. Yet we had been warned by the Japanese that they were going to do something. So it may have been a preemptive measure to not have all your rows in one duck.
The Japanese also did something like this in the 1905 war, in the Russo-Japanese War, where they did a sneak attack. I believe it was on Port Arthur in Russia on the Pacific coast. So they did a sneak attack too. So the Japanese were known for sneak attacks. So yeah, and the funny thing about this, let me tell you about racism for a second, right? 1/3 of the population of Hawaii are ethnically Japanese. So the person in charge of the naval base at Hawaii had all the airplanes in really tight rows. They're in really tight rows. And the reason why he did that was that he was afraid of saboteurs Japanese American citizens. He was afraid that they would be sabotaging the airplanes. And so he put them all in neat little rows. Now, the thing is about neat little rows is that they're very easy to destroy from the air when you just strafe down on them. So it's these conflicts are really interesting because they are nexus points between racism, oil wars, religious wars, and just good old-fashioned human stupidity.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, you mentioned about how they worshipped their emperor, and that in part led to the kamikaze mentality that we had with such an odd thing. We found that was so striking to have them doing that. I think at the time, of course, that's my dad's age, a little older than me.
Dan Carlin, who does Hardcore History, is actually doing the War in the Pacific right now. If anyone wants to check out his podcast, it is worth doing. He does like these 3-hour episodes, and I think he's done 3 episodes so far on the Japanese War in the Pacific so far. So it's definitely worth checking out. Hardcore History, Dan Carlin.
I want to point out that we do have the phone line. So if anybody wants to pop on the phone line, give us a call and join the conversation. Hey, look, my green screen is giving me crap.
Should yell at Ray.
I'll get to that.
Ray is very, very yellable. He is locked and loaded.
Yes. So
you have a snowflake. You are a snowflake. I see a snowflake in the background right there.
Flake of snow, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, the Christmas card. My daughter put it up. I don't know why, because I told her I don't want any pagan nonsense in my site, and she managed to get a Christmas card up. The Christmas tree is in her room. Everything's in her room, and I didn't really tell my daughter that, so don't freak out, Christians. I'm joking.
You never know. So good morning, everybody. So if somebody wants to call and argue with Rage, or Andy, because Flow State loves arguing with Andy.
So what's the number, Chris? State the number.
The number is 940-DAMN-SHOW. There's digits. I'm sure you smart folk can figure it out. I'll be right back. I'm gonna tinker with my thing. I got a thing problem because of the thing at the place with the stuff.
Sounds like
a gremlin. Excuse me while I want to go slay this gremlin real quick.
I was gonna say there's a blue pill for that. I wasn't completely awake this morning, and somebody responded on the tweet about the show today about PPP, and I was thinking PPE, and I responded, and the guy's like, huh? Like there was like $100 billion left. Oh yeah, I was thinking the wrong thing. Early morning. Sorry.
They can hear you now. Well, should we get to the article? Should we get to the article?
Yes.
Is this the awkward segue that we do here on the Daily Atheist Morning Show? All right. So this is the article. It's from a couple of months ago, but it just kind of highlights the whole insanity of religion, faith in the United States of America. This was in Forbes magazine. The name of the article is U.S. Roman Catholic Church received at least $1.4 billion in taxpayer-funded PPP loans. The Roman Catholic Church reportedly received at least $1.4 billion and possibly more than $3.5 billion in federal funds courtesy of the Paycheck Protection Program, with hundreds of millions going to dioceses that have paid massive settlements or sought bankruptcy protection due to sexual abuse claims, according to Associated Press analysis. So these are churches who've had to pay out lots of money because they have hidden Catholic priests, of course, because they're Catholic churches. They have hid pedophile priests. And so, oh gosh, we're getting low on cash. What should we do? Wait, the federal government will give us money because it's the apocalypse and because of the virus. Let's get some key facts on this story. Faith-based organizations are typically prohibited from lobbying for federal funds distributed by the U.S. Small Business Administration. However, Congress allowed churches and other nonprofits to apply for loans via the Paycheck Protection Program as long as they abided by the SBA's, quote, affiliation rule, unquote, which dictates that only entities with fewer than 500 employees are eligible. Many parishes exceed the 500-person gap, but an organized lobbying effort from the Catholic Church led to the Trump administration exempting religious groups from that particular rule. So religious groups, just because they were able to have religious privilege, and let's face it, that's all this is religious privilege, they were able to exceed the 500 person cap in terms of getting these oftentimes forgivable loans. Yes, forgivable loans. So that means it's free money. If anyone wonders what that means free money.
Yeah, free money that comes from us, and they don't pay any taxes. Like, the business I work for is looking at going out of business right now, closing their doors forever because the state is shut down. Nobody has money like they did during the first shutdown when the government was actually helping. So I mean, we are taking a hit, and if we don't open up again, we're going to shut down. And my boss, the owner, just the other day was talking about how he barely got anything from these loans from the government.
Yeah.
And yet the Los Angeles Lakers got a huge loan, and now these religious groups are getting no, they don't even pay taxes. This was supposed to help the people, small businesses in this country that are the backbone of this economy, and they're doing nothing. And just yet again, Mitch McConnell just totally rejected the new stimulus to help the small businesses. So it's like they don't even care. It's all about giving it to pander to their base and to their donors.
So, Rage, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute. Aren't churches essential businesses?
Why?
Why would they be essential? Well, because they help people feel that they offer support. For the community.
No,
that's why.
No, not at all. I would say they're non-essential.
Non-essential.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I would be. I would say agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, I would say they're one of the most non-essential things that there is, but that's me as an atheist. But outside of that, like we talked about it many times, you can go online and get all of that. You can do all of that online. You can do it over the phone. You can go to their house and stand 6 feet away from their door and talk to them in person. So yeah, non-essential. Yeah, I would definitely say that.
The opposite of essential, maybe even anti-essential.
Yeah. Not even non-essential.
They're not actually they're not actually not essential. They're anti-essential in that they create harm. Yeah. So you're basically giving money to institutions that harm society.
Well, here's the thought though. If you take the amount of money that they actually put in, you give them, right? And then they take that money, because churches are supposed to help the community, right? So we give them money, people give them money. They give it to the church. What percentage of that money actually goes back to help the community or the poor? Let's think about that for just a minute. What tiny percentage? And then they claim to be nonprofit, and then they're taking all this money to pay their what? It's the Catholic Church. I want to put up another little thingy here. Somebody sent me through the Book of Faces. This is just the Bishop of Portland. Observe. This is 253,000. This is 585,000. This is 1,390,000. I mean, this is a lot of money just to the Roman Catholic Bishop of Portland. What could they possibly need that much money for? I guarantee you, the Roman Catholic Bishop of Portland is not using that money to help the community. They're not. They're absolutely not. And secondly, what does the Roman Catholic Church need money for anyway? They got billions and billions and billions of dollars. Well, the Roman Catholic, they're paying off the child pedophile cases and such.
If the real goal is to help people in need, why not just give people in need money? Why don't you just give people in need food? So the idea that you're giving money to the church to help people, well, they're just a middleman. If you just give people money and shelter directly, then guess what? The Catholic Church becomes irrelevant. In terms,
I honestly, I try to be an optimist, but I'm honestly convinced at this point that this current administration is trying to burn the country down, and you do that by creating the greatest economic recession amongst the populace, amongst the middle and lower classes, and that's who they're targeting. We are not going to get any help from them. unless we pressure Mitch McConnell to change course. We have to be pressuring this dude.
Right, but look what happens though. I mean, they take all of a sudden. You're like you said, we're in this horrible this administration has destroyed our economy, trying to burn it all down. People are in food lines. Things are bad. And what's the Catholic Church doing? Is it using its money that it's been? Is it using the money that's been hoarding for centuries and helping the poor? No. As a matter of fact, it's taking money meant to help the needy now, not helping the needy with it, and then encouraging people to gather and get the disease that's causing the problem. This is the Catholic Church that we have today.
And why does the Catholic Church need any money at all? This is one of richest, most powerful religious organizations in the world. I mean, it makes no sense that they would be getting a PPP loan, when small businesses need it here in the country.
Yeah.
And how many small businesses didn't get it because they got it? I mean, just this one parish or just this one city. Look at that. That's millions and millions of dollars. How many across the country took and just sucked that money that small businesses need? And who do they blame on the right? They blame the liberals.
Sure.
Yeah. I just got into I put it on Twitter the other day. Like I was having a conversation with somebody, and it was the day before Mitch McConnell, the day before yesterday when Mitch McConnell shot down the new stimulus. We were talking about the stimulus, and I was like, yeah, fuck the Republican, F the Republicans. And they were like, no, F the Democrats. And then the next day it was Mitch McConnell and Mitch McConnell alone. And I was like, I was just pondering, like, does he still disagree with me? Or does he see it new? And the odds say he still disagrees with me.
Well, he's probably thinking that there's a Democratic reason. The Democrats are trying to do something. Therefore, that's why Mitch McConnell won't stop it. It's sort of like we say, whenever the Democrats won't pass it, it's because the conservatives are trying to stuff too much money for the rich and nothing for the poor. And so that's why Nancy Pelosi will stop. Now, on the right, they're going, look, Nancy Pelosi's the one stopping it. She's a bad person, but they don't tell us that she's stopping it because of all the pork they're trying to stuff in there. Same thing from the other side. Mitch McConnell's stopping it. This guy that you're talking about probably believes some minutiae on the internet that defends it, that Mitch McConnell is doing this because Nancy Pelosi drew a pentagram on her basement floor and sucked up ghost blood or something.
When what happened was, the election is over and Democrats do what they do. They folded. They gave the Republicans everything that they wanted. Nancy Pelosi is taking heat for that. And Mitch McConnell is just laughing. You thought you was gonna get something.
Wow. Yeah.
I have an Icky Tane in my side chat. What's up, Icky? I always have to say hello to Icky. What's up, Icky? All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris.
That's all right. We've kind of got a lot going on in the world right now. We knew it'd be this way between the election and probably even going on after the inauguration on the 21st. But like Trump is trying to call out Georgia and just literally manhandle Georgia, just literally force all the votes his way. He also wants to shut down the vote for the upcoming runoff election. He's mentioned just shutting it down completely and not having it. I mean, do the conservatives not understand what a democracy is, how it works? I think some of them do, but then you think Trump does this and like, this is just stupid. The conservatives aren't going to do it. And then they line up right behind him. I'm like, man, how can so many conservatives still be lining up behind this guy? It's crazy. No, I'm not just talking about the uninformed public who's been misled by Trump and by Fox. I'm talking about the actual politicians, the real deal. How many of these, what you would almost think respectable people of our community are falling for this drivel from Trump and Fox? It's just blows my mind.
Yeah, well, it's crazy. There's no doubt about it. I just on a tangent, I just want to say hello to Missy Be Awakened in your chat, Chris. They say they left the church 12 years ago. I'm free. Congratulations, Missy Be Awakened. Congratulations on being religion free. Congratulations on that. But people, incentives are very powerful. Republican politicians, or politicians in general, respond to bread getting buttered. So if the person who's buttering your bread, who's giving you money, who's giving you electoral successes, if they want you to do something crazy, then there's a very high chance you're going to do something crazy, so that you keep getting, so that you're on the gravy train. Once you're on the gravy train, it's very difficult to get off it.
Right.
And typically, any politician, it's difficult for them to go against the party line. At least for Republicans, Democrats are different. I understand that, until once they're out of office and once they're retired, then they start speaking a bit freely. And the reason why this is the way with Republicans is because there's so much money in that system. Democrats, much less money in their system. It's more from unions and from small contributors. Republicans have much more. They have larger organizations supporting them and forcing them to toe the line.
True enough. Well, also the Democrats don't have this small group controlling the entire party. Just imagine if everything Bernie Sanders did, all of a sudden, all the other liberal Democratic senators were all of a sudden, oh man, we need to do what Bernie Sanders does. If Bernie Sanders doesn't support it, we won't. What if that happened? Wow, but we don't have that by any of them on our side. We have that on the left or on the right. I mean, with Donald Trump, this guy, no matter how batshit crazy it seems to be, how un-American, how unpatriotic, how against our Constitution it seems to be, the GOP traitorous trash seems to just swim with him every time. If we could get a Bernie like that, that'd be great, but we can't. Bernie, the people swam with, but the politicians were scared of because they would lose too much. Rage will tell us about what they'd lose if Bernie got in office. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, see, the hype around Bernie, a lot of it's contrived.
You don't necessarily have to endorse Bernie on that situation. Who was it that you were talking about? There was somebody else that you said. I can't remember her name. It was a woman.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Nina Turner are
absolutely
my two favorites right now.
Okay, let's just AOC. See, AOC is a great. Oh man, she's a wonderful example. Let's use her as an example. If AOC says this, all the Democrats just go for it, and the Democrats know that if they go against the AOC, they're going to lose this huge, mad, crazy, wildly left liberal part of no matter, all the cat ladies. Sorry to be cat ladies. I'm just using example. They're going to lose those. If all the Democrats were afraid of that, they would do that, but they're not. We're more scattered. AOC's got her people. Bernie's got a good example of here in this room. Bernie's got his. We're not as good, but on the right, they've got like Attila the Trump over there doing these things, and the people on the right just don't. I mean, the politicians. Not just the people, the misinformed people, but the politicians are betraying our nation to follow this typhoidish tramp. I'm just saying. I'm
with you, Chris. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. Andy says in his very phlegmatic, reflective way.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me do this right here. Still, I thought I fixed everything. I did not fix everything. It's a process. I'm learning.
Can anything really be ever perfect? Any kind of technical system. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not the tech guy out of this trio, obviously. So I'm like monkey hits button. That's what I do.
Yeah. No. It was good. This time here, this is what the deal was. The audio troubles we had last week. I don't think we've had any of those. We do need a caller to help test the system to make sure everything's going correctly. So if somebody wants to call in and talk about the Catholic Church sucking the money meant to help the needy businesses and stuff, it's like they fight over this stimulus package. Like, oh, it's bad. And the people on the left say, listen, this is bad. This is not good. And the people are like, oh, this is good for our country. And then they finally get it through. And this is what happens. Big businesses who don't need it. Did Kanye West, multimillionaire, happen to get a PPP loan? Yes, he did. What about the Catholic Church? Did they happen to get a PPP? How many did they get? Clearly, they got a lot. So
I got a question. So what percentage of GOP, Republican senators and congressmen, have a special tab on Pornhub for AOC-related porn? Now, I'm not saying AOC is doing porn. I'm just saying how it is. When Sarah Palin was running, you had all those Malin Palin videos with Lisa Ann. Not that I was a fan of that, but I would suspect that there are a fair amount of Republican senators and people in the House who are just titillated by AOC.
Yeah, there's a love-hate thing there they've got going. There's misogyny, I guess, the misogyny of it. I love her. I think she's great. I'm with Ray.
Yeah, calling people on the college, you can't be cursing. You can't be cursing. That's the thing. The hammer of YouTube would be hammered upon us and that would be bad. That would be bad for all of us.
Did I miss something?
Someone in the chat.
Yeah.
That's a general ground rule. We're still.
I do apologize. I have a Smokey Saint in my chat. You're showing the things that he was saying. I apologize for that. I did just hide him, but he must have woken up drunk because he's talking a lot of really bad stuff about me as a father and about my daughter's mother. He's in California. He can't possibly know anything about my daughter's mother or about me as a father. Usually I will let people do that, but it got to a point, and then I realized, hey, this is showing up on Chris's screen. So Smokey Saint, you just got yourself hid. And go screw yourself for everything that you just said. So I'm sorry, Chris.
I mean, you would think you'd have better things to do, but maybe not. Maybe that's the extent.
Smokey was mentally ill before he got into YouTube, or did YouTube?
I don't know. Like, this guy just woke up. I mean, he's really mad that I stopped covering him. He's really mad that I buried him on the channel, and I showed his face. So now he thinks he's got to retaliate, and he thinks he has something on me as a father, and he's going to use that and make a video about what a bad father I am. Okay, thank you. But once he started talking about my daughter's mother and calling her bad names, I realized, this is coming across on Chris's screen. And so he is hidden now, and I do apologize that I didn't hide him before it got to that point.
Oh, no worries. We have, it does happen on our show. I mean, it happens, We try to be somebody asked about cuss words. I do kind of have a thing. Let me do some explaining. We're all grown-ups. Yonder is Facebook. This is the internet. It's not radio. However, it is a morning show, as we like to have it. Hopefully a funny morning show that people enjoy, and we talk about stuff. And there are people who, believe it or not, and I don't know why, but there are people who actually listen to this at work. And we don't want people having to turn it off at work because of the vulgarity. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things. That's been my rules ever since. It also helps, get monetized on the videos. But I mean, really,
you just see this whole Office Space scene where the boss comes in and says, "Hey, I know it's the apocalypse, but you gotta get rid of this Atheist Morning Show thing."
Yeah. No, it's a cussing. Whenever I first started the show, I think it was Matt Pig worked in a shop, like a tire shop, and he had us up on the radio. Up on the thing in the tire shop, and the customers walking through. It's one thing to talk about religion and the harms of religion or politics and things about politics, but to go on just vulgarity after vulgarity after vulgarity, and some mom's walking her little kid through his shop. I don't want him having to turn off the show because of that.
Yeah, and it does slip out of me every once in a while. Everybody knows how I talk, but I do, and that's why, like, you'll catch me like, "Oh, I'm sorry," or I'll try to catch myself because we are trying to keep it clean. It's a morning show. People listen to morning shows with their speakers, and then children are running around. So
we just try to be grown-ups about it.
So we're just trying to turn the kids into Bolsheviks and rhetorical bomb throwers. Maybe Mensheviks, getting into the weeds a little bit here. But overall, we can do these things. We can meet our lefty goals without resorting too much into cursing.
True enough. Well, it's not that big a deal. So that was the answer to Jan's question as to why we were doing the thing. So does AOC have an OnlyFans? Well, she ought to. And I bet it would just be just overflowing with Republican money. I mean, conservative Republican money. Like, was it which one of you? It was Andy was saying it would just be full of Republican dollars.
You know what she needs to do, and I hope she's holding it for when she actually runs for president, but like release all the footage of her activism before she was president. Show that side of her. And man, I mean, she would capture the imagination of the world if people knew that side of her. Right now, they just see the young congresswoman becoming a politician. They don't know the activist AOC, and I think that's going to be like when she releases that's going to be something. I can't wait for it.
There is a lot of vilification of her on the right. The people on the right have no idea what she's about, what she does, anything. It's just ugly things the conservatives say about her. I mean, it's and you sad. See that like when it's really especially vicious when it's a woman, but when any Democratic person becomes like
the most popular or one of the most popular people in the world. Hillary Clinton became a very popular person throughout the world. They demonize her. Maxine Waters. The list goes on. And AOC is that now. Bernie Sanders, they demonized him as a socialist, and he had to pretty much embrace that just to be able to move forward. So they're going to do that against AOC. I think that it got to her. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw it. She was like, considering not even running again, and not because of what the Republicans were saying as much, but what Democrats were saying about her. And so, yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see her become what she's really going to be, and that is that the new face of politics, real people representing real ideas. So I look forward to that era of America. Get out of the era of stupidity that we've been in.
Getting out of the era of stupidity.
I'm trying to imagine what that would look like. Would that be like Norway? Is that Norway? Maybe.
Yeah.
Some Nordic country, I think. That's what it would look like.
Just a reminder, if there's somebody out there who wants to call in. Let's talk with us about this. And so I can use you as a guinea pig to slay any more tech gremlins that may be around here. So
you should come up with some kind of really irritating ear bug like that 1-800 Cards for Kids. That's built, I'm sure you all know that commercial. Whenever it gets on the radio, it drills a spike into each one of my ears.
Call now 1-900 Good Love. Call 1-800 Hot Atheist. Sorry, Andy. No,
I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know which one of us would be the hot one out of the. I know that I'm warm in my extra thick hoodie. This is a relatively new hoodie, so not mine, girlfriend's. But
stole it.
Yeah.
Good man.
Stole
skills.
It. That's what I did.
Skills.
Stole it. Yeah.
Cool. See, back to AOC. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of her. And what do they call them now? The Squad. Who are the Squad? It's her,
Ilhan Omar, Priscilla.
The Presley one in there. Priestley.
Yeah, Priscilla Presley.
Abrams.
Yeah,
Priestley.
Yeah, from Boston.
Well, Abrams. I don't know. Don't get me started. I'm not going to get myself in trouble.
I just don't know enough. I'm trying to find out who that Squad is. I'm not trying to get on a tangent.
She's doing good work in Georgia, and I wish her the best. But kind of a fake progressive.
I'm just looking for who the Squad is. That's kind of what I was looking for. So
she went establishment. I mean, the establishment don't like you unless you're establishment, and the establishment really likes Stacey Abrams. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, they like Stacey Abrams because Stacey Abrams, creates results, right? Or at least, she creates infrastructure. I mean, that's the narrative, right? There's a narrative in Georgia that the reason why it went blue is
give her the credit
is because of the infrastructure that's built up.
I'm sorry, she sold out and went and took that job at CNN, and I mean, ever since she took that job, us progressives have been like, hold the horses. She's doing great work in Georgia, but I would definitely not put her in the Squad.
We still need. Okay, I really, like I said, I wasn't really trying to get off the topic of the Squad. I just don't know who the Squad is. I threw out a name.
Yeah. No. Stacey's she's doing great work.
Stop squirreling on the ring. No. Stop talking about Stacey. I'm not talking about Stacey. I'm talking about the Squad. Who is the Squad?
There's 4 of them technically. I can't remember the 4th. Ilhan and Priscilla and
Rashid Tlaib.
Yeah, she's from.
Yeah. And I'd throw Ro Khanna in there as well, but that's just me. I'm a Ro Khanna fan. And as a dude, he might not qualify for the Squad, but he should be up in the Squad.
Is the Squad a gender thing? I didn't know it was a gender
thing. It's the 4 women, but I would say
here are
he
the
should
4 people. You have AOC from New York, 14th District. You have Ilhan Omar from Minnesota, District 5. Ayanna Presley, Massachusetts 7, and Rashida Tlaib, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Michigan 13. So there you go. You got the 4.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But hopefully that can expand. Hopefully we can grow the Squad to
they are looking to primary, at least from what I understand, from what I heard on 538 months ago, is that the plan was to primary middle of the road Democrats, blue dog Democrats, and in relatively safe districts for Democrats. So they would be doing basically what the Tea Party did to moderate Republicans, and to get more people elected for Democrats.
That's what we need to do.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. That is what needs to be done.
That's the goal, and I think that the message is getting out there, and more people what AOC provided the blueprint here. What she did to that guy who was a sitting incumbent, well established in New York. I can't remember his name right now offhand, but she wore out like 8 pairs of shoes, walking doors and knocking doors and talking to people and telling them, hey, this is what I stand for. Didn't need a lot of money, but she had a lot of heart, and that's I think the blueprint moving forward for the progressive movement is if you want the Democratic Party to reflect progressive policy, then you have to take it over from the inside with progressives.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's the way. That's what they're doing. That's what we need.
Yeah,
exactly what we need.
Nina Turner's another one that she's been doing the work for behind the scenes now for a very long time, and that's why I say like she's starting to finally get that recognition, and she's even in that talk of leading that movement now instead of being the one kind of working behind the scenes for Bernie and the rest of the progressives. Push her to the limelight and let her and AOC be those figureheads of this new movement.
Yeah. All right, guys, if somebody wants to talk about this or join us in the conversation, you can give us a call, 940-DAMN-SHOW. It's at 940-326-7469. So give us a call.
Who I feel sorry
Let me test
about.
my gremlins.
I have mad sympathy for the people in California who are about to go into a 3-week lockdown. 3-week lockdown in California. Yeah. It's going to be crazy. It is affecting people who are working. Businesses are being shut down, of course.
We're nearing the end of our 3-week lockdown, and businesses are struggling. I mean, like I was talking about the business I work for, and we don't think that it's going to end after 3 weeks. We think that 3 weeks is just the first stage, and it's going to probably go through till February.
Right.
That's unfortunate. And too bad. Wait. Too bad. Those small businesses didn't get millions and millions and millions of dollars that went to the Catholic Church.
Or the Lakers.
Right? That's what it was supposed to be for.
Corporations,
rich corporations too. Totally get that. But I'm talking specifically about the Catholic Church taking close to $1 billion total somewhere. But really, the Catholic Church, what taken from all those needy people and businesses. Knock says yes. The greedy businesses, of course. But look at the Catholic Church.
Yeah, if the Catholics are doing it, then all those all those little evangelical churches can claim to be businesses now, and they would fit within that criteria of employees.
That's absolutely
so. How much did they get? Somebody should be looking into that. I think.
Yeah. Well, I think there was. I at one point didn't have a problem with them getting, but I didn't. I was talking about the small churches. It makes sense. There's small churches that are businesses that have employees to pay who can no longer. I'd rather have the government pay them a little bit of money to offset their business than to have them holding church services and gathering. And yet we don't. Not only are they taking PPP money, but they're also holding holding services and gathering. So it's like they're an anti-help to our society. Looks like we have a caller. I will do the thing while you guys chatter, Leslie.
Okay.
David Paul.
Hopefully it's not icky.
No, it says David Paul. Good morning. Let me get David in here. Give me 1 second while you guys do your thing.
We're doing things right now.
Or hopefully it is.
There we go. David Paul. I'll change the name. I've still got to work on the name part. But good morning, David. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing pretty good so far. Can everybody hear you? Everybody in the show?
Hear. Yep. It's all good, man.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you. Hey, David, what's going on?
Well, not much, but since you guys are talking about the squad, something I find interesting about them, because I'm 100% atheist. I don't believe in gods at all. Magic, nothing, no ghosts.
Right.
But what I find interesting about the squad is that several of them are Muslims. I think the rest of them are Christians, but they actually follow the Constitution in general, from what I can see, and they don't insert their religion into their politics, which is why at this point in time I support them, because we're surrounded by religion in this country, as you guys are well aware. So, and I really appreciate that. But I've been on some of them's Twitter's accounts, and I've seen them being attacked by the right wingers, and all the vitriol that they say. But when you look at the religious politicians, the white religious politicians, some Democrats and mostly Republicans in this country, it's not the same. They're always inserting their religion into their politics. So that's it's just a comment on that. And I don't know if you guys want to talk about that, but I mean, that's something I find interesting as an atheist, that the Muslims seem to be sticking to their constitutional oath better than these Christian Republicans.
For now.
Right.
For now. Yeah. Well, we had a second caller. I was actually going to pull the second caller into the conversation, but if the caller wants to call back, I'll pull you back into the conversation as well. That's a good point. I've often been about that when it comes to the people in Islam. I've often felt that they tend to, the radicals, I'm not here to vilify Islam. That's not what the show is about today, but the radical people tend to keep themselves a low profile when they're not the majority. But once they get a majority in a society, then they start pushing those kind of things, and it's a whole different. But they're not here, and they're doing. I think you're right. They're doing a great job. I should shut up.
A vast majority of Muslims, and I'll say this. I'll say a vast majority of Muslims, just like a vast majority of Christians, just want to be left alone and live their life. It is unfortunate.
Oh yes, I would agree.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that there's some leadership that is dead against that.
Yeah, true enough. But it is good that they have been doing that. Thank you for calling, David, and let me help you test the stuff. It looks like it's working. Those tech gremlins I slayed. It's just this morning, just before the show, about 30 minutes before the show, I was like, you know what? Life's working pretty good. I think I'll add a green screen just because I don't have any problems. So there we are. Otherwise, I think everything's sounding pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks
for
man.
joining us.
All right, thank you. Have a good morning. Thanks for the show.
Sure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Thank you all for helping test it. Again, we missed somebody. So if somebody else wants to call in and get in on the conversation, let me know, and we'll love to have you. I am going to pop that off of there. There we go. See.
So Chris, I don't understand anything, as anyone knows, right? So are you able to put people on hold while we take a call? I'm curious about that.
Yes, I could have put David on hold and then added the other caller, talked to the other caller, put that, and we can. The system, I guess, can do. I don't know how many it can do, but it's the more you add, the more expensive it is. So I have it set to 3. We can have 3 callers at the same time.
So we can put people on hold as we talk, and if we have more than one person, if we have someone on hold, we will of course address the issue from the caller, and then we'll get to the next person in a timely way, because that's how we are here.
That's right. I was just waiting for a polite point in the conversation to bring him in, but it was, Right. Anyway. So fun. Thank you guys for helping us test that. We got about 10 minutes. I'm gonna eyeball this caller thing just in case one more person calls in before we end the show.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
So
we're looking good.
So, Catholic Church taking PPE money, California going into lockdown for 3 weeks. And the reason why they're going into lockdown is because their hospitals are being flooded. They are being flooded and their ICU units, the beds are being taken. I think some areas are down to 8% of their beds being open. And I believe the number is 15%. So if there are only 15% of beds available for the ICU, then that is a tripwire for a lockdown, and that's where a lot of California is right now.
We have another caller. It looks like Remember Sammy Jenkins. Good morning, Remember Sammy Jenkins. Can you hear us? Oh, let me bring him into the show. What's that? Oh, there he is. We can hear him now. Remember Sammy Jenkins.
G'day.
All right. There you go. Good day.
Was calling up to help you play any possible tech demo.
You're doing, it's doing great. I'm, I've got everything going. It's a matter of me learning how to make the, running the new panel and all that. Thank you for going. I think everybody can hear you just fine. For those of you who don't know, Remember Sammy Jenkins he's in Australia.
You can, take calls from Australia. So that's good to know.
From Australia. Cool. That's what they want us to believe. Sorry. We give them a hard time about Australia. Yeah. It's really an island off the coast of, what is it? South America. It's not really Australia. Flat earthers. I pick on the flat earthers. I can't help it. Every time with the anyway, so thank you for helping me test the thing, Sammy
And I was actually going to bring up and point out that, especially since you've had Nok is very underrated. But then I realized so is Andy. And then I thought, so are you actually. So
wow, thank you.
You should probably become the underrated show.
There you go.
I appreciate that.
Thinking,
that's a good compliment. Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, we're hoping to grow. Hopefully, as our channels grow, population, as society collapses, the population will go down as our shows go up. But thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and start winding up the show. What was that, Sammy?
I just said indeed.
Indeed. This is the first time. Do you do live streams? Do you get on other people's live streams with video and stuff?
I'm going to be having my channel launch around the 10th of December. So
gotcha. Okay.
That's only in a few days.
But my channel's actually, it's not under Remember Sammy Jenkins. It's actually Watchtower Watcher.
Okay.
So,
okay, we'll remember that. You'll come put
I'm thinking
links.
about changing after seeing your stream the other day, Nok.
Uh-oh. What happened the other day?
Well, that Watchtower guy, I did a video on him. He's out there.
So is this a reference to the Jehovah's Witnesses?
No, this guy thinks that he's watching for Jesus to come back. And somebody pointed out in the comments, I can't remember who, and I didn't notice it before, but then you go back and look at the video, and the guy's pupils are so dilated, he has to be on LSD. But he's talking about like Christians being raptured and meeting Jesus in space, and crazy stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha. Get your money's worth out of that one, huh? Yeah. I wondered about that. I've known you for a while, and I knew you were Watchtower. What's that?
Yeah, and whereas mine is a reference to Jehovah's Witnesses, but it's debunking the crazy,
right?
Not supporting it.
Were you a? Go ahead, Andy.
Were you a Jehovah's Witness? Were you a member?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Gotcha. For how long? And how long have you not been? Or are you still by force?
It's interesting. I actually left when I was about 15. To be honest, I was questioning when I was 6 and 7. Left formally when I was 14. But my indoctrination, I didn't really truly get over until 1 or 2 years ago at the most. After discovering many wonderful people such as Nok and others on the internet, Aaron Ra and a few others, which is just why I felt, compelled to ring up and say good on you, because
thank you.
It does make a difference.
Appreciate it. We're doing all we can to spread our nutbaggery and save as many people. They're trying to save souls. We're trying to save lives, I guess, is the only way I see it. But thank you, Sammy. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And congratulations on being out.
Congratulations, yes.
It's always good to hear someone who has been able to make it out of a cult. And I'm not picking on Jehovah's Witnesses as being a cult. I mean, I think in my broad definition, the Catholic Church is a cult. The Southern Baptists are a cult. But good job in getting yourself out.
Good job. All right, brother, I'm going to go ahead and let you go for now, and then I want to touch on one subject. Thank you, sir.
Peace.
Man, peace. We have got awesome.
Yeah, have a good one, Sammy.
Awesome people who watch the show. Thank you very much for all your help in testing the show and getting our stuff going. One more topic before I go. I want to mention, Andy, if you don't mind. Let's look at Andy. We're going to look at Andy. Remember those days you were talking about? We're creeping up on some of those days.
The days?
The days, the magic days. My wife even asked me. She was like, the magic days. What's happening?
The Electoral College, which I believe is the 14th, is when there's certification from Congress. I mean, it's pretty much almost a done deal. It's hard to imagine how Trump, outside of declaring martial law, which it's pretty clear that the military would follow him down that path at this point.
Isn't there a date on the 6th or 8th? I thought it was the 8th. Something.
It might be, dude. Okay.
You don't have your numbers in front of you, guys.
I don't have my numbers with me. It's been so long. I know California just certified their vote a little while ago. They're just sub-Republicans, of course, now crazy. They're just doing crazy things. Not really. They know they're just doing kabuki theater at this point. This is just a theater of the absurd that they will trying to get Trump to win the election, but there's no way that it could happen outside of martial law, to tell you the truth. Is there like a quarter of a percent chance? Sure, there's always a small chance, but all the smart money's on Biden being in here on January 20th, which is Inauguration Day. And I just want to say, and I don't want to smear it in your faces again, but you'll probably hear it at least one more time from Andy Hall, that I was the one out of the three, out of this trinity, who did predict Biden to be in office on January 20th. So, damn.
I just want to point out, because I'm that kind of glass half empty kind of guy, it's not January 20th. And he's
no, you were right, sir. You're right. I am fellatiating. Well, I am doing that thing with,
Right. Trump is still trying to run a coup in our country. He's still trying. He's still trying to overturn Georgia right now. He's still trying to overturn Pennsylvania. He's still trying. He's not stopped. So,
you know what's fascinating is that I saw this, and I think it was on CNN yesterday, that Google searches for Trump have bottomed out.
Really?
So, in other words, people just don't even think about Trump anymore, more or less, because the drop off in terms of Google searches for Trump bottomed out.
Have you seen the sad face Trump pictures coming out of the White House as he's walking around? He's barely showing up for work. Like, that's any different than before. Barely showing up. He's walking around all sad and hardly talking to anybody. Yay! He's sad. He needs to be sad. He needs to be sad.
One single tear.
It messed up his makeup.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you all for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and run the Christmas in Hell commercial, so don't run off just yet. Thank you, Andy Hall, for joining us, man. What do you got going on?
Dropping some more comedy shorts today. I am researching guests to get on the channel to get back to doing my hour-long conversations, doing deep dives.
Awesome.
And, just chaos, dude. That's all I do. Of course, I wrote a post today about a vaccine being found or being tested in phase 3 trials against religion. That's on my blog, Laughing in Disbelief. That's my satirical blog over on Pathos, where I cause chaos consistently.
Awesome. Wonderful. How about you, Nokasuchi? What kind of craziness you got going on today?
Today, we have our Apostate Alliance at 1 p.m. featuring Sassy Heathen. So come join that and listen to her deconversion story. Should be a lot of fun. It was pre-recorded, so there's that. Won't be able to ask questions. But I'm also currently taking out all of those comments that Smokey Saint just put in my side chat here during the show, and I'll be editing a video about that. And that'll be out probably later this evening, because why not jump the gun and have some fun? But yeah, so outside of that, just normal as usual.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, everybody. Thank you to everybody in the chat. All the damnation. You guys are wonderful for joining us for this ungodly hour. You're wonderful people. Thank you to everybody. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, the damn show, you on the place over at the thing at the stuff. You guys are all wonderful. We're gonna head off, and I'm gonna show you this commercial because it's funny. You have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Take care.
Hello all, Chris Mallard here, atheist extraordinaire, host of the Daily Atheist Morning Show, and currently burning in hell. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm not dead. I'm just down here for the annual Christmas party. I mean, annual solstice awards party. The Dark One, or Lucy as he is affectionately known, is personally handing out the awards. Aaron Ra is getting the award for the most souls brought down by evolution for his African fossil hunt, and Matt Dillahunty has won the Golden Phallus Award for being a dick to the most Christians. Oh wait, It's the Golden Fallacy Award for the confusing the most Christians. Easy mistake to make. To top it off, Seth Andrews has lent his voice to the Gregorian chants this year. It's delightfully hellish. Gotta run. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving, if you're into that sort of thing, and I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I mean, a happy holidays, happy solstice, and a happy new year. Stay safe, heathens. Party hard, fornicate, that sort of thing. But do it safely.
Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, Cindy Plaza and Ian Davenport. Thank you and have a great day.